And welcome back to another segment of 10 Count. I'm Steve Kim, joined by the Sentinel's Ken Miller and Ring TV's Doug Fischer. Guys, in an era where guys don't want to fight, where being busy is now 2 fights a year, how refreshing is it that Gennady Golovkin, who fights Martin Murray February 21st on HBO from Monte Carlo, intends, and he's done this before, fight 4 times a year?
Yeah, well, he was on schedule to fight 4 times last year, but the untimely passing of his father caused him and his promotional company to sit out, I think, an April date.
Yes.
But he fought early February last year, and then he fought in the summer, and then he fought in the fall. And just like the previous year, he made a lot of ground. Just fighting 3 times last year, and in the previous year, 2013, he fought 4 times. And in fighting 4 times, he's really brought himself to the forefront of the boxing world that is outside of that really hardcore fan base that follows boxing internationally when it doesn't happen on US TV. But having that HBO platform and appearing on the network as often as he has, he's built up his ratings, he's built up his respect in the US. I think he's becoming a better fighter, but what I like is that he's not in just one spot. I mean, his last 2 fights, one was at Madison Square Garden in New York, and he drew pretty well, like 8,000, and the other one, really, if it was in a big enough venue, his fight against Marco Antonio Rubio, the Mexican style event, he probably could have done like 12,000. He did like 9,300 at StubHub.
Ken, how close is Golovkin to making it? We know he's an HBO level guy, but there's one more barrier he's got to cross. That's to be a marquee attraction. How close is he?
I think he's very close, and I love what his management team is doing, and you alluded to it. You know, StubHub, you know, here in the States, somewhere else here in the States, a fight overseas. This guy and the HBO brand, this is a guy, if he had something a little greater than HBO where we could really get to know him on a personal level, I think this is the guy who could really galvanize the sport of boxing. I mean, people love a guy like Mike Tyson. This guy is the real deal. And the reason why he can fight 4 or 5 times a year is because he's quick at legitimately putting guys to sleep. And these are legitimate opponents that he's putting asleep.
You know, October 18th, we were there at the StubHub Center. There was a palpable buzz in that arena. I've been to almost every fight card there. I've never seen a non-Mexican fighter resonate with the Mexicans. I've been to fight cards where Mexicans will see Sugar Ray Leonard or Marvin Hagler, Floyd Mayweather, and they don't care. They'll see Jesus Soto Karass walk in, and you think it was the Pope. Right. The way they react to Golovkin, I think they have caught lightning in a bottle, because in my opinion, looking stylistically, you compare him to Tyson. I think, Doug, he's the closest thing I've seen to Chavez Sr.
Yeah,
the Lion of Culiacan.
And that it was his trainer, Abel Sanchez's master plan, was to take this guy who was a brilliant amateur, an amateur world champion, an Olympic silver medalist with 350 fights, won most of them, but somebody who had more of a European style. Somebody, when I first saw him, when I first traveled up the mountain, Big Bear, to watch him train, and this was like in early 2011, he reminded me of Kostya Tszyu. And a year and a half later, he was more like Chavez. He was coming forward, he was cutting the ring off, and he was working left hooks to the body.
Ken, when you look at the middleweight division, the linear champion that's recognized because he beat Sergio Martinez is Cotto. Cotto, to me, is a junior middleweight masquerading for one night who beat a dead body, the ghost of Maravilla. Is Golovkin the best middleweight in the world?
I don't think there's any question about it. Let's be honest. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really crazy about Martinez. I thought Martinez was a fraud before.
A fraud?
Yeah,
Wow.
I did not think.
There,
well, when I say fraud, when you're talking about the middleweight division, we're talking guys, Jose Nopolis. We're talking about
Monzon.
We're talking a guy who was a stablemate of mine, Armando Muniz, who never really made it to the stature of Monzon, who would beat any of these guys. So. I think Golovkin is the star in that division, and I think Cotto's looking for paydays to get out of the sport of boxing. I don't think Cotto is looking for anything. You know, legacy is a very over-articulated word or adjective in the sport of boxing, I don't think legacy means anything to a lot of the guys.
Yeah, most of it's the bottom line. That's why they call it prize fighting. Doug,
Steve, let me just say real quick. Here's how you know Golovkin is the best middleweight in the game, because no matter who he fights at middleweight, hardcore fans favor Golovkin. They don't even view it as a contest. And he's getting ready to fight Martin Murray.
Solid guy.
Who has one loss, which is a fight that a lot of people thought he won against.
Me too.
Against Martinez in Martinez's hometown, his home country. And he has a draw in another title fight. He's not old. He's not small. He's not without skill. I mean, the dude is a big, solid middleweight, but he's unacceptable as an opponent for Triple G. When hardcore fight fans talk about fights for Triple G, they bring up Andre Ward. They bring up Carl Froch. They bring up light heavyweights.
Yeah.
And that lets you know right there. Even if they say, hey, this Triple G guy is overrated, he's not really an elite fighter, and then I will ask them, you know, like on Twitter, well, who beats him? I think Andre Ward.
Somebody's not even in
And that's it. I'm like, wait, that's the only guy you can come up with who beats him? Okay, he's an elite fighter then.
And guys, what maddens me about Golovkin, and we went through the reign. I grew up on Marvin Hagler, then we went to Bernard Hopkins, and then Andre Ward. These guys were given the chance and the opportunity to clear out their weight divisions. What is the rush with moving out Golovkin? My point is, let him win all the belts, just like the other guys did. And I think he gets one more year at 160 to build that legacy. And then I think there will be legitimate, fair pressure to move up to 68. All right, well, that's it for this edition of 10 Count. On behalf of Ken Miller and Doug Fischer, this is Steve Kim saying, till the next round, goodbye, everybody.